Hey peeps, DJMK here, and welcome to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. So, in the last episode, we went through a pretty awesome masquerade ball where it has brought up a bunch of really beautiful character development for Fritz and Lucette. And this episode, we are going to listen to the speech that Lucette has prepared in order to do a very beautifully magical integration of the Society of Angielle in a very non-magical world. So, of course, joining me is my great gaming partner, Tobias Atantalis.
Hello.
And I think that this might be the end of Fritz's route. Now, I don't think we got the true end. I think we're miles off from the true end. At least this is my guess. But we shall see what happens. And then the next route we're going to start up, maybe in this episode, maybe in the next episode. I'm betting it's going to be this episode. Next episode we're going to start up with Karma's route. So we are going to finally answer the question of how will Lucette and Karma navigate the stuff between Angielle and Brigantia? Some sort of like alliance thing. One takes over the other. How is it going to work? So maybe we'll find out the answer to that question. But yeah, so here's another bit of thing I just wanted to let you know about. Remember how I said I was planning on getting the laptop in April? Well, I'm gonna have to push it forward to the summer. So it's gonna be a little bit longer of a laggy stream, but I hope nevertheless you will still enjoy it. After all, it is a visual novel, so it's not as graphics heavy. Let's go with that. So hopefully you all still enjoy the show anyway. But yeah, without further ado, let us go ahead and finish up with this route of Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. There we go. I was going through the rainbow wheel for like a few seconds. Alright, so it is going very slow today.
Where did we even leave off? It was right after the ball.
Yeah, so like there was the masquerade ball, then there was the how do I describe it? The vocabulary.
Was it like the Chancellor that got attacked?
Yeah, there was that raid. That's what it was. Like it's this raid with like anti-magic knights essentially. And then we had a choice between either trying to stop them ourselves or requesting Fritz to do it, or like just calling for help. And Fritz managed to show up and apprehend the guys who tried to take away the Countess of Brigantia, who was a former witch herself. So this part is basically going to pick up like right when she's about to Lucette's about to deliver her speech with the Countess. So that's where we're leaving off here. Because the big thing is trying to integrate the formerly magical people with the humans. Because there's a lot of drama going on between them right now. So that's what I remember. Don't know about you.
Yeah, even though technically there's not really anything different about them, between them now. There's still all the prejudice and like one side blaming the other for everything that happened.
Yeah.
Fun stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think of it kind of in a way like a superhero's worst nightmare, where you lose your powers and unlike most arcs, there's no way of getting them back. Last we checked. So they're basically permanently that way. So they have to basically relearn a way of life from scratch. But not really necessarily trying to get back to the way they were, but an entirely new way of life. If that makes any sense.
The new normal, as they call it.
Yep. Boy, does that sound familiar.
I don't know, I think it's been tossed around a couple times, you know?
Yep. And we're still figuring that out. Alright, so let us hear this speech. And that is why, come what may, we must not allow such prejudices to stand in the way of our progress. I believe in our kingdom. I believe in our ability to accept the past and also our ability to open our arms to the future. I pause to survey the crowds that have accumulated by the stage. I see a myriad of emotions reflected on the townspeople's faces. Fear, hesitance, relief, hope. People are so much more complex than we give them credit for. They are much more than the masks they wear in public. I get the masquerade stuff again. And also, it feels very appropriate than wearing my blue light glasses today. My eyes wandered to Fritz, who was standing at the edge of the stage just beside Jurian. When he notices my eyes on him, he flashes me a smile. His silent presence is enough to motivate me, no matter what might come. I turn back to the townspeople. Sometimes it is too much to shoulder the weight of our pasts. And sometimes the weight of the future is so daunting, we turn away from it. In times like this, I beseech you, let us all open our hearts and respond to uncertainties not with malice, but with acceptance. Let us live to be better people, not for the future, but for the here and now. Every dream begins not with a leap, but with a single step forward. So let us all live for a moment in peace, so that we may cultivate a future filled with hope. Let us walk forward together, no matter our past, no matter our blood. I take a deep breath to steady my nerves. The crowd is silent, but the quiet lingering in the air is thoughtful. I glance over to the other side, where the Countess from Brigantia is standing regally, her hands clasped as she looks out at the crowd. She gave her own speech before mine, a speech received with just as much respect. I hope that my words are reaching them. I focus again on the crowds. An older civilization once left us with these words, Carpe diem, literally translated, seize the day. And that is the advice I now leave you with. Seize this day, and every other day after, is so we may all take one step forward together. Let us not linger in the past, or cower before the future. Let us focus on the present and on the things that we may yet accomplish and the good we can do in accepting others. And if we may accomplish such a thing, no matter how small, I believe that our kingdom will grow even more peaceful over the years. Carpe diem. A solemn silence clings in the air as those words sink in. I have to stop myself from glancing back at Fritz. And that speech feels very relevant right now. Just so relevant right now. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and you know, maybe your plans were just thrown into complete chaos. But you know, if you're not making huge bounds forward, as long as you're taking whatever little steps you can find, you know, you'll get to where you want to be eventually.
And there's your Saturday morning cartoon morals, friends. Or should I say evening? Again, it is always morning somewhere, so. But yeah, that is so true. Like, if you've not seen the movie Dead Poets Society, I recommend it. Because that movie, in a way, is very much one example of Carpe Diem. I mean, it is gonna. I mean, obviously, trying to do a new mindset is gonna come with a lot of resistance, but oftentimes, that resistance is often a reminder that change is worth it. You know? I mean, there are the easy changes, though, and we should absolutely embrace those. But...
And by the same token, not necessarily everything has to change. There are some structures set up that are good. But,
right, absolutely.
You know, whatever you're following, you don't want to just follow it blindly.
Very key point. Make sure you are getting to know fully what you're getting into. Alright, let's see what happens next. I am remembering how to say the words correctly, right? That is always my question whenever I see a word in a foreign language, so I feel that. My hesitance fades away at the sounds of applause, which shatters the silence until the whole area is resonating with the sound. I slowly raise my head to look at the people gathered around me. For the first time in a very long time, I do not feel like an outsider begging for forgiveness. For nearly the first time in 2 years, I do not feel like a victim or a criminal. I feel like a leader. Thank you. I do not know if anyone can hear my words over the applause, but I say them anyway. Eventually, I step off the pedestal and make way for my father, who is set to give his own speech on this town outing. I have been accompanying him for the last 2 years in his monthly visits, but this is the first time I felt confident in the words I offered the townspeople. Shortly after my father's speech, another burst of applause rings out, and the whole area is once again flooded with sounds. It does not die out for a long time. Father and I take turns addressing some questions of recent happenings before eventually the time for speaking is over. I step off the stage and am relieved when I feel Fritz's cool hand come down my shoulder. He leans forward and whispers in my ear.
Are we still up for today?
I turn to look at him with a smile. Of course. Lead on, Lord Fitzgerald.
As you command, my princess.
And at least he's doing it for fun. He's saying it for fun, but then again, I think it was Your Majesty he wasn't, or Your Highness he was not supposed to say. I forget now. It's been so many episodes.
No, she basically just doesn't want him using formal titles because they're close enough.
Yeah.
So he just uses it to tease her because he knows it annoys her.
He slides his fingers through mine before turning and walking back to the palace. I follow quietly behind him, my heart still thudding after the day's excitement. After ample preparation, the two of us head to the forest. Today is not a day for training, but a day for sharing. I will be helping Fritz work on one of the many things he has in his to-do list for the future. Ooh, let's see what it is! I was surprised when he told me he wanted to share this hobby with me, but, well, I learned just as much as he has. I glanced at the book that Fritz is holding beneath his arm. Normally I bring a fairy tale book to the graveyard so I could read it to Laura and her daughter. But today's book is not a fairy tale. It is the book Fritz and I have been learning from for the past week. I bet it's a foreign language book. Because Fritz's mom was a teacher. Let's find out.
He can learn to write.
That's true. And it's not long before we come to the grave site. Neither of us is surprised to see Jurian there, kneeling in front of Garland's grave. She has already placed her flowers and looks to be on her way out when she notices us. Oh, Your Highness, Lord Fitzgerald? She bows.
I hope you're not bowing to me, Julian.
Jurian snorts. Unless you suddenly become a prince, no. She glances between the two of us. But who knows? That day may not be so far off. She narrows her eyes to the book we have. That book. I hope you've been teaching Garland too. He was always interested in learning. I always saw him eyeing that book when you read it during your patrol breaks, Fritz.
I'm sure he's been learning just as much as the princess and I.
Now we gotta know what the book is! Jurian laughs. In that case, then, I'll leave you two to your studying. I have duties. Jurian turns around one last time, her eyes fixed on Garland's grave. For a few moments, her eyes are melancholy and far away. She puts her fingers to her lips and then presses them to the grave. See you later, Garland. She turns to walk away, leaving Fritz and I alone in the clearing. The two of us pay our own respects. Fritz lingers longest by Garland's grave and me. I set a flower before every gravestone, kneeling by each to offer everyone a separate greeting. I stop first at Garland's grave. Jurian's doing fine. I have no doubt that she will be the best commander the Order has seen yet. She thinks about you often. I hope you will continue to watch over her. I pause between Delora and Parfay's graves. Delora and Parfay, I know that today will not be the end of all my problems for the future, but I hope that it will be the start of a new beginning. I will never stop trying to bridge the divide between darkness and light. Lastly, I stop at Mother's grave. I may not be carrying your legacy exactly as you expected, Mother, but... I take a deep breath. I want to be a queen that you can be proud of. A queen that can end strife not through violence, but peace. When I am done, I sit a distance away from all the graves and pat the area beside me. Fritz plops himself down beside me, sitting close enough for our shoulders to touch. He places the book in between us and pulls open the cover. He sets his finger on the page he bookmarked and begins to read aloud. It's a language book! I called it! The words are in a familiar ancient language. Though most of them are still foreign to me, they sound like poetry coming from Fritz's mouth. As he is reading, I pause to point at one of the words, recognizing it immediately. There it is again! Carpe diem. Wait, I just realized. Latin exists in this universe? Uh-oh. I think we're going through our sound problem again. Woo! Let me double check something. Okay, so while that sounds being fixed, so I just realized Latin exists in this universe, which is kind of interesting. So, would this mean that Cinderella Evermore kind of in a way takes place in a Lord of the Rings-ish universe, where it's basically ancient human history? Around the intersection between the the Brothers Grimm and... Well...
Okay, I don't know why it does that.
I don't know either, but you came at the perfect time. So, I just realized, like... Latin exists in this universe in Angielle. So it's and considering between like all the German and French names that are in this game, it kind of makes me wonder: is Cinderella Phenomenon's universe kind of similar to Lord of the Rings? Especially the fact with this ending, there's no magic whatsoever.
I mean, possibly, or it could be similar to like Zemnian and Critical Role, which
true.
is actually just German, but they just call it something else.
That's true. That's really true. Yep. Carpe diem.
That's right. Carpe diem. To seize the day.
When Fritz came to me with this proposition to learn this language together not more than a week ago, he taught me that phrase first. Carpe diem. It made enough of an impression on me that I included it in my speech. 2 years ago, when Fritz was for personal night, he taught me another word from the same language, adiuva. And now I have to look up if that's an actual Latin phrase, because that does not sound familiar from my school days. The word brought us together even under the direst circumstances. And yeah, I actually did learn Latin, like for 6 years? Well, since 6th grade, so... yeah, 6 years.
I never actually learned Latin formally, though I do have a Latin-English dictionary on my bookshelf.
Same!
It's useful when trying to come up with fancy names for things.
Yeah, I literally have it on my bookshelf right there. It's like one of those pocket ones. Actually, it might be a good opportunity. This might actually be a good opportunity right now to see if that's an actual word. Alright, little linguistic pause here.
There's always time for etymology.
I forgot how to put on earphones for 2 seconds. Might be a conjugation thing. Afflictor, regio, adhenio ad hoc. Adiumentum. Oh snap! It actually is a word!
Like, even if it is a... ah!
Yeah, well, it's a conjugation thing, but there's adiuvo, which means to help, to encourage, which makes total sense as to why Fritz always shows up every time he hears that word. Thanks, Collins Dictionary.
Like, help me.
Yeah, it literally means help me. Or give me strength. Or Asura says, give me strength. Ah, I learned something today. Thanks, Collins Dictionary. The words brought us together even under the direst of circumstances. And now, this language will continue to bring us together. Years ago, Fritz used to read languages to remember his mother. Now, he insists on learning the language with me so that he can keep me close. He wants us to be able to share secrets in a language only we understand. Which honestly I find is really cool. I mean, a lot of relatives do that actually, come to think of it. It's raining!
Yeah, I have a couple sisters who both happen to speak Spanish, so... they don't do it as much to share secrets, but they will just kind of like chat with each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, also it's like partially because it's like more practical. Like for my brother, it's French, and then for my sister-in-law, it's Spanish. I kind of had it with French for a little bit, and Japanese I'm still working on, but I'm better at understanding the languages than I am with communicating with them, personally.
Yeah, I always thought it would be fun to learn Gaelic myself.
Same! Which one?
I'm indecisive, honestly. So I was trying to figure out which one would be more practical to me. I'm kind of leaning towards the Irish, just so I can listen to Celtic women and understand what they're saying. But
yeah, I'm still trying to decide between Scottish Gaelic and Irish Gaelic, because I do have relatives that live in both places. So, I mean,
yeah, the other factor is just which are available to me. Like, I looked it up on Rosetta Stone, and they only have Irish. They don't have a Scottish Gaelic right now.
Yeah. I think I might be leaning towards Scottish Gaelic because I watch a lot of Outlander. And Outlander is filmed literally in my aunt's backyard, so... I've been rewatching season 1, so... But yeah, it's raining.
Yeah.
It's raining. I feel a soft patter on my head and glance up at the sky. It is beginning to sprinkle.
Don't worry. I came prepared this time.
Of course, because of course he did. Fritz pulls out an umbrella. Ella, A. And don't It was too easy. In no time at all, he has set it up just behind us. The both of us scoot closer to protect the book from the elements. Aww. I thought you liked the rain.
Although part of me is like, I'm almost surprised they have an umbrella technology. Like, this seems... Did they have umbrellas in the medieval times? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, then again, there are parasols, so it's totally possible. It's probably not like the auto spring kind that we often think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those fabric parasols that I often use during the summer.
I do, but it would be a shame if the book had to suffer, wouldn't it?
That is true. Warped pages are a tragedy. Plus, they're really hard work to dry out.
Again, going back to the age they're in, books are not easy to replace.
No, especially in the fact that like magic doesn't exist anymore. It'll be even harder.
Yeah, they don't have magic. So if they want another book, I don't know if they have printing presses, but there is a good chance that someone would just have to write down the book all over again.
Yeah, pretty much. Then again,
So,
if the Brothers Grimm was able to
fun.
spread out pretty wide, it's possible they might have a printing press, but who knows? Who knows? The time period for this is very hard to pin down. Alright. So he smiles
It's
at
also
me.
a fantasy world, so it
That too.
doesn't follow
That
an
too.
exact timeline.
That too. That is true. Fantasy world. Like, time is arbitrary at that point. He smiles at me as he points to a phrase in the book.
Now, this phrase here. Do you remember what it means?
If you'd say it, I might be able to look it up. I narrow my eyes at the slanted words. Amor vincit omnia. I think it's love sees all? Or love conquers all.
Yeah.
I remember my Latin. I remember my stuff, even though it's been like
See,
10 years.
I don't know Latin itself as well, but I have a good, like, idea for Latin roots and things. So, I'm like, I was like, that definitely looks like love, obviously. And omni means everything, like,
Right.
encompassing, so, yeah. And Vinci, that's like victory, so, yeah, probably love conquers all.
Yeah. Yep.
I've said it to you a couple of times.
You have?
In my dreams. In these novels, people always say things like that. It's like, no, dreams don't count.
That is
Sorry, Prince Philip.
but no, not very helpful. Fritz laughs when I nudge him in the shoulder. I can't read your dreams, Fritz. And that ability's not really a thing anymore. Because no magic in the universe.
I forget that I'm not as easy to read as you are.
I am not easy to read.
You are too. Just look, I can tell now that you're embarrassed.
He puts his fingers to the line and reads it aloud again in a soft voice.
Amor vicint omnia. Love conquers all.
Hey, we got it! I trace the words again and repeat them in my own voice. In light of everything that happened before, and everything that will happen in the future, those words feel powerful. Like, I can't remember if it's like a soft C or a hard C. Like, Amor vincit omnia is basically like the Roman equivalent of love is love. But more badass.
Instead of saying, just let me be, they're like, we're gonna take this and destroy you with it.
And to make this even more beautiful, the fact that we've got a second reference here, just right for the taking. Amor vincit omnia. Is there not a more direct way to say I love you? Feel free to say it with me, y'all.
I'd just say, I love you, you know?
Or, as we all have been saying since probably day one of this stream, as you wish. Also acceptable.
But even that
an
is
ancient
like
legend.
an indirect way. That was their own thing.
For Augustus and Hazel, it is the word okay. For Chakotay and Janeway, it is an ancient legend. For Lucette and Fritz, it is Amor Virgin Omnia. For everybody else, you fill in what it is for yourself. Fritz takes my hand and intertwines his fingers through mine. Ah!
Te amo. I love you.
Okay, how many languages does this dude know? So he's like, how many does he know? He presses his forehead to mine, and for a few moments it is just the two of us in the clearing. There is no memory of the past and no weight of the future. There is nothing beyond the hopes and dreams contained in this very moment, trapped in our locked hands and the breaths shared between us. Wait, what? Okay, that seems to be a typo here. I think it's supposed to be me saying that. Fritz? Te amo. Ah! Gosh! This is so adorable.
I feel the same way, Lucette.
Oh! He slides his lips to mine and the two of us share a soft kiss beneath the shade of the umbrella. In this moment of quiet and tranquility, there was nothing besides Fritz. Fritz, my knight in shining armor. And someday, perhaps, my prince. Oh my gosh. Ah! These two have endured so much! Or my king. I totally forgot! But for now, there was just this moment detached from both the present... This my my painting toppled over in the background. Not this painting, the other one. Don't worry, it is totally intact. Anyway. But for now, there was just this moment detached from both the present and the future. There was just Fritz and I, and the secret words shared between us. Carpe diem. Seize the day! And on that note, we got the good end of Fritz. But not the true end, obviously.
How many endings are there? Like, is there a bad end to these things?
Well,
can you say the wrong thing and they like get divorced?
Well, for this, no, because this is a a post happily ever after plot, so both of them are good ends, but apparently one is more good than the other. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there should be like something under here, I believe. So yeah, there's something we were missing around the ballroom area. Yeah, so yeah. So we got two good ends. It looks like there are some true ends that we still need to get. But we shall figure that out. So the next one we're gonna do is Karma's ending. So, because I remember the last playthrough was pretty combat heavy. Because I just could not recall if it was Chevalier's ending or Karma's ending that I did next. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was Karma's ending that I did next, because, like, I remember, like, the chameleon imagery was pretty big. And then there was also the fact that, like, I found out the nature of Karma's conflict a little later. So, yeah, I think I did Karma's ending next in the last playthrough. So Karma was in the middle either way. So, if I happen to be wrong, apologies for that, but hopefully you all still enjoy this anyway. Because with this one I know from personal experience, there's going to be a lot of sword fighting. It's going to be fun. Lot of sword fighting.
Woo, combat!
Yep, combat. Is it mortal? I don't know, but we'll see. And the last one, yeah, definitely was mortal.
Well, I don't think they're gods.
Fair enough. Anyway, let's start this new tale. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, there lived a princess. She was known as the Ice Princess, named for a frigid heart and unyielding coldness toward others. The princess shunned all who sought to help her. She was scared to go out into the world, so she locked herself up in her palace. Then one day, the Ice Princess became the victim of the infamous fairy tale curse and was forced to go from riches to rags. As the princess struggled to come to terms with her new life, she met a very special man. The two endured much strife, helping each other overcome various ordeals. In the end, they emerged victorious. The special man thawed the princess's ice-cold heart and dried her dampened spirits. The two vowed to love each other for the rest of time. They lived happily ever after. But what happens after the happily ever after? And once again, we are going to go through the trial of Her Royal Highness, Crown Princess Lucette Riala Britain. And today, we finished Fritz's route, and we will now go through Karma's route. And I totally forgot what the acronym... totally forgot the acronym for Karma stands for. But I know the first name's Claude, so... Ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, here is Claude's route. Chapter 1. The Chameleon Prince. Of course.
Oh. If I were you, I would give up now, Princess Lucette. You ought to just surrender, darling.
What kind of villain says darling?
Lucette, this is where you play along.
Claude never change. Never change. I take a deep breath, then force myself to glare at him. I will never succumb to you. I parry Claude's sword moments after he lands a blow on the edge of my blade. His momentary surprise into concentration as he rushes me again, sword raised high. This time I'm unable to parry, and when our swords connect, it is all I can do to keep my stance. Claude's face is inches from mine. A cocky smile lights his face, but his calm is unwavering.
Use any means necessary to best me. I dare you.
At his proximity, I could see the flecks of color in Claude's eyes. The flicker of golden light on gentle green. His eyes will always remind me of this forest. Which, considering they've been practicing their sword fighting all the time in there, I don't blame her for that. I stealed my eyes away from him and glimpsed the rest of his body as search for an opening. How should I attack him? Oh no! It's like, do I go?
Honestly, I would be inclined to use magic, because right now it seems like he may be better at you than you with a sword.
On the one hand, yeah. On the other hand, I don't know
maybe
how...
if you use
I don't know what Lucette's mastery in magic is in this universe compared to, let's say, Waltz's route where they've been practicing all the time. And I bet this would kind of be like Indiana Jones or Captain Marvel if we kind of use magic in a sword fight, where her magic is basically the metaphorical gun. Or what is Captain Marvel's magic called?
I mean, he did challenge us. He did dare us to use any means necessary. So I think he almost wants us to use the magic. Which, if we're playing along...
Fair enough. But I mean, I thought it was also pretty old school. He liked using swords. But yeah, let's you know what? Let's do magic, because since that is more Lucette's forte here. Let's give it a shot, though. Again, I don't remember her proficiency here versus...
She cheated.
But yeah, I also consider that cheating, but I don't care. It's what she knows. I do have one easy way of getting an upper hand. Maybe I will not win, but... I smile at him. Oh, I just noticed it changed! You've forgotten one very important thing, Claude.
Oh?
I'm a witch.
I am not left-handed.
I am a witch, and you are not.
You wouldn't.
Claude's sword slides past this moment with enough force to make my blade loose in my hand, but my grip no longer matters. My taunt has temporarily caught Claude off guard, giving me enough time to concentrate on my magic. Ice begins to gather on my fingertips. Oh yeah, you should focus more on the ice magic on this one too, rather than lightning with with Waltz's ending. Claude brushes at me again with his sword just as I hold my hand to cast my spell. I aim the ice at his feet. When the whiteness clears, my ice is accumulated at the ground, turning the vibrant green blades of grass into fragments of powdered white. But Claude is nowhere to be seen. Oh dang, did he dodge? he totally dodged. What?
He dodged and used the confusion to get around you.
Yep. I think he knew what was coming. Either way. I feel the cold tap of a blade against my shoulder. Before I could turn around in place, I feel an arm around my waist and lips close to my neck. I can feel Claude's breath on my skin when he laughs. I knew it! I knew she was gonna call me a cheater.
Cheaters never prosper, darling.
I know he wanted us to go old school. You told me to best do him whatever way that I could. Claude responds by moving his lips down to the nape of my neck and planting a soft kiss there. I stumble away, my fingers tight on the grip of the sword. Claude raises an eyebrow at me and grins.
Perhaps if you hadn't warned me about your magic in advance, you might have won. Though even if you had won, it wouldn't have been a very fair victory.
Yes, on Antiope. I hold my sword out once again, but too late. Claude is already close to me again, his blade at my neck. He knows me too well. The moment I became flustered, I lose all my concentration. He grins at me, triumphant. I think either way we're gonna lose this, no matter what means we did, but I don't know.
Really, though, you should have admitted defeat much earlier.
He moves the edge away from my neck and leans forward to brush his lips against my ear. The rest of his words come in a whisper.
There's no besting me, love. I can predict your every move.
Well, considering he's the best swordsman in, the region overall, of course, it would probably best us no matter what we did. I sigh. I know when I'm beaten, and to fight anymore would be futile. I pull my arm away from Claude with a groan.